everyone, MB here at the OFAH Heritage Center. Today's lesson is all about the eastern wild turkey. There are 5 different subspecies of wild turkey across North America. Subspecies refers to a group within a species whose traits are slightly different and who exist within different regions of a species range. For today's lesson, we'll focus on the subspecies of turkey present here in Ontario, the eastern wild turkey, whose scientific name is Meleagris gallopavo sylvestris, sylvestris being the Latin term for forest. In today's lesson, we'll aim to answer 5 questions about the wild turkey: how to identify a wild turkey, where do they live, what do they eat, can you harvest a wild turkey in Ontario, and we'll also take a closer look at the story behind the return of Ontario's eastern wild turkey. Alright, so to answer our first question, how to identify an eastern wild turkey. Eastern wild turkey are large, upland ground birds who are mostly dark brown in color. Many of their feathers have a unique iridescent sheen. They also have sections of white, light brown, and black on different feathers. An adult female turkey is known as a hen, and hens can weigh anywhere from 4 to 6 kilograms, which is about as heavy as a large house cat. The head on a hen is very pale and drab, almost a grayish blue color with tiny feathers on top. An adult male wild turkey is known as a tom, and toms are much larger than hens, weighing anywhere between 8 and 13 kilograms, which is about as heavy as 3 large house cats. The head on a male is featherless, and during the spring, during the breeding season, can show shades of bright white, red, and blue. On the head, you'll also see the snood and the caruncles, 2 very important features for attracting a mate. And did you know that male wild turkeys have a beard? Maybe not quite like the beard you're thinking of, but the beard on a male wild turkey is located right in the middle of its chest. And I've got a beard here from a bird I harvested just this spring. And beards are considered a modified feather. They're made of keratin, just like their other feathers. And keratin is actually the same stuff that our fingernails and our hair is made out of. And while it's not completely understood, it's suggested that the beard is a courtship ornament. So the longer the beard, the older, the healthier, and the more superior the mate, which is sure to attract many females. Now, most of the time, it's males with a beard, but very rarely you'll get a hen with a beard. A juvenile male wild turkey is called a jake, and a juvenile female wild turkey is sometimes referred to as a jenny. Now, to tell the difference between a jake and a tom, a juvenile and an adult male, take a look at their beard and take a look at their tail feathers. The beard on a tom will generally be longer than that of a jake. However, beards can wear down and break off, so this isn't always accurate. And sometimes a male turkey can have 2 beards. When comparing tail feathers, toms will have a uniform black band across all tail feathers, whereas a jake's tail fan might look like this. Turkeys have very unique tracks. And the scat they leave behind is another way to tell males apart from females. The scat from a male turkey will be brown and white and almost form the letter J, whereas the scat from a female turkey will not take on any recognizable shape. And our next question, where do they live? Here is a map to show you where eastern wild turkey can be found in Ontario today. Specifically, eastern wild turkey prefer mixed hardwood forests. Forest edge habitat providing cover, but also feeding opportunities in nearby fields and meadows are ideal. Turkeys roost in trees, up high, safe from predators. They nest on the ground in areas that provide lateral shelter of thicker understory, as well as the overhead shelter of a thick canopy. Eastern wild turkey are fairly well adapted to survive Ontario's cold winters, and therefore they do not migrate. Our next question is, what do wild turkey eat? Eastern wild turkey are omnivores, meaning that they are specially adapted to consume both plants and meat. Plants in the form of berries, fruits, nuts, and seeds, and meat in the form of insects and bugs and grubs. In the winter, they rely on standing corn, seeds, acorns, and remnants of fruit on apple trees in order to survive. Turkeys generally stick to areas where the snow isn't very deep. Our next question is, can you harvest an eastern wild turkey in Ontario? The answer is yes. And depending on the wildlife management unit, there is either a spring harvest or a fall harvest or both. During the spring season, an individual with an outdoors card, small game hunting license, and a turkey tag can harvest a bearded bird with a limit of 2, which must not be harvested on the same day. During the fall season, 1 turkey tag can be purchased to harvest a male or a female bird. Ontario hunters must report their harvest, which provides critical population information to wildlife biologists to assess the health of wild turkey populations. And to answer our final question, what's the story behind the return of Ontario's eastern wild turkey? First of all, raise your hand if you have ever seen a wild turkey. And depending on where you're watching this from in Ontario, chances are you have seen a wild turkey. Well, believe it or not, just a little over 40 years ago, there were absolutely no wild turkey left in Ontario. At the turn of the century in the 1900s, eastern wild turkey were extirpated from Ontario. And the term extirpated means locally extinct. And so while eastern wild turkey were extinct in Ontario, they did exist elsewhere. The turkey disappeared from Ontario because of unregulated market harvest and habitat loss. Remember, turkeys need mixed hardwood forest habitat. So, as settlers moved in to clear the land and make way for farming, critical turkey habitat was lost. The Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters, a keystone partner, along with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry and others, worked hard to restore vital turkey habitat and reintroduce the eastern wild turkey in the 1980s. The wild turkey was reintroduced not just as another bird to hunt, but to restore biodiversity. Biodiversity is the variety of living things within an ecosystem. The higher the biodiversity, the healthier the ecosystem. The first regulated spring wild turkey hunt began in 1987 in only 2 wildlife management units. Since then, wild turkey populations have been stabilizing, allowing fall hunting opportunities and additional wildlife management units being open to spring hunting. The return of Ontario's eastern wild turkey is truly a conservation success story. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and comment below. And if you and your class would like to learn more about the eastern wild turkey, reach out by email. Even during times of remote online learning, you can book a free live question and answer session. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay connected as we learn together outside the classroom.